Welcome back to The Lead Word. This is your host, Trey Dalbert. Along with me, as always, Chad Bauman. Today is Tuesday. What's the fucking date? Tuesday, November 17th. There we go. Chad, how are you doing today? Any stories you want to talk about?
So Trey, I don't know. Are you a big DMX fan?
DMX? Like, you mean like
The rapper?
Oh, I mean, trying to think of what he sings.
He sings a lot. But
up in here. Okay, I got
that's
you.
one.
Okay.
That's one. So I'm feeling a lot like this one particular DMX lyric. All I feel is pain. All I know is rain. How can I maintain with that shit on my brain? So that's how I feel.
Well, before we get into that, I do want to talk about NBA draft. I'm sure this will go up before then, but it is tomorrow as we're recording this. And the guys on the team are planning a lot of stuff. I know there's talk about doing draft grades, some kind of live stream you guys can watch of our guys talking about the draft. I'm probably not going to do anything except for maybe call in about the Celtics, but make sure to check that stuff out. Our guys are going to be doing a lot of NBA draft stuff in the next day. Free agency's right around the corner, so we'll be covering that. What else? And, Jeremy's big board. I mean, Chad, for those who've been watching, everybody knows I got a little bit of a screw loose. Our guy, Jeremy, decided he was going to put together an 80-player big board for the NBA draft, and there's only 60 selections. So 20 of the guys minimum won't get drafted. So if you have a chance, make sure to read that. Our NBA draft stuff is off the charts right now. So I just wanted to make that announcement.
Sounds good. Yeah, I can't complain. A lot of draft stuff.
Okay.
Find out about your guy, who your team's going to take.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. So maybe next week we can talk about some NBA stuff. But for now, there's too much changing. Changes every 5 seconds. So we'll wait.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Get out of the way.
Okay.
First takeaway.
Uh-huh.
Buying a PS5 is bullshit,
Oh.
by the way. That's the first takeaway.
Okay. Yeah, I still don't have one either.
They just spent fucking 45 minutes on PlayStation's website. Oh, you're next in line. Well, just tell me the fucking thing's sold out. You know why the fuck I'm here. I'm not here to get a fucking controller. But I digress. I'm fucking done with football. I'm pissed off. This fucking Philadelphia Eagles team, it's literally making me hate football. Like I've never been at a point in my life where I've said I just don't want to watch football. Like even when like the Eagles lose or whatever, it's like, okay, you know, I still want to watch other teams. This fucking Eagles team is so bad, it makes me not even want to watch other teams because it makes me mad that other teams can do simple shit that the Eagles, for whatever reason, can't fucking figure out. And I've had it. I'm fed up. And to be honest with you, I'm at the point, Doug Peterson needs to be fired. It's not, like, no joke. Doug Peterson needs to be fired. I don't know what the fuck goes on in his head, but he has no ability to read the fucking room. Like, zero. Or at least fired from play calling. If you're fucking Jeffrey Lurie, you need to be like, bro, you cannot call plays anymore. You fucking suck at it. You have 2 weeks to prepare for the fucking New York Giants. And then you make after 2 weeks, you make Daniel Jones look like fucking Steve Young? Are you kidding me? Carson Wentz, literally, statistically, is the best quarterback while outside of the pocket. You have the worst offensive line in football. That's a matter of fact. You have given up the most pressures and sacks than any team in the NFL. Carson Wentz doesn't move out of the pocket until the third quarter. And then he goes 6 for 6 on that drive, and then you never roll him out of the pocket ever again. Doug Peterson cannot fucking call plays. And you know what? Every once in a while, we see it. We see like, damn, Doug, that was actually a really good play call. But then you never see that again for the rest of the fucking game. It happens once every game. Holy shit, Doug. Great fucking call. Another 45 minutes goes by. Why can't we do what we just did 45 minutes ago? He sucks. Doug Peterson needs to be fired. So does Howie Roseman. They're fucking garbage.
I have a lot of thoughts this week, Chad. So,
and by the way, real quick, one thing I would like to point out.
Okay.
I tweeted this during the game on Sunday. I would just like to point out, it was right before the Giants scored their second touchdown. I tweeted, the Eagles defense is currently getting butt-fucked by the Giants offense, but you'll still find a way to tell me how it's Carson Wentz's fault that they lose the game. Guess what? Here we are. What is today? Tuesday or Monday? Tuesday fucking morning or afternoon, and you're still trying to find ways to tell me that they lost because of Carson Wentz. By the way, Carson Wentz did everything that Eagles fans have been wanting him to do all season. Oh, you got to throw the ball away. You can't hold the ball. Threw the ball away. You can't throw interceptions. Didn't throw an interception. Can't fumble the ball. Didn't fumble the ball. Oh, we lost because of Carson Wentz. What do you want from the guy? He was literally getting sacked as soon as he touched the snap. Jason Kelce, who I fucking love, for some reason, forgot how to play fucking center on Sunday. And that's it.
Normally, I just let you go rant and, you get all your frustrations out, and I really don't have much to add. This time, I have a lot of things to add. Number one, this is why I care more about my fantasy team than I do about the Baltimore Ravens. Because what you're saying right now is 100% true. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. At least I can control my fantasy team. I can control whether I win or lose in fantasy. And you know what? If I lose, it's my own damn fault. Fucking Baltimore, they suck. They suck constantly. No.
I can't even control that because Carson Wentz is my fucking quarterback.
Yeah, but you signed up for Carson Wentz. You wanted Carson Wentz into your fantasy team. If I win or lose in fantasy, maybe I get a shitty matchup or that's some bad luck, but it's my own damn fault if I lose in fantasy. This shit is nonsense. And I'll stick it to the Eagles. You're 100% right, and you have every single reason to be upset. Because, number one, and again, I wrote this article 2 weeks into the year or whatever. Number one problem on this team is Howie Roseman. And I said this before the draft, or after the draft, maybe I said this. The Philadelphia Eagles went from small favorites in the NFC to we're underdogs and Carson Wentz has to save us. Because what he did in the draft for 2 consecutive years is indefensible. He did not take any offensive linemen in the 3rd round or higher. Not a single one. Except for Andre Dillard. And, he's kind of just, we hope that he can pass protect, but he's really not that big. And we kind of knew he was flawed, but we needed a left tackle to replace Jason Kelce. You didn't really try to build the offensive line. He didn't. It's just a fact. The decisions he made trying to put weapons around Carson Wentz are indefensible. We're going to take Jalen Reagor. We're not just going to take Jalen Reagor. We're going to take him ahead of Justin Jefferson. Can't do it. Can't do it. I don't even care if you got it right, and they didn't. You can't make that decision. The year before, Metcalf is staring him in the face. And it wouldn't have mattered if he liked A.J. Brown, or he liked Deebo Samuel, or he liked Deontay Johnson. Just somebody that could – you wouldn't have even been upset if they could take Deontay Johnson in the second round and they passed on Metcalf. Yeah, that would have sucked, but at least Deontay Johnson can play. He took a guy that can't fucking play, who was inactive on Sunday, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who we knew couldn't run routes. We just hoped he could win the 50-50 balls. Am I right or am I wrong? If Philadelphia had Deontay Johnson and Justin Jefferson, just two guys staring them in the face, two guys who could absolutely play, two guys who you could know, I don't know what we're getting necessarily in terms of ceiling, but I know those two guys can play. You wouldn't have been pissed today.
Oh, and by the way, speaking about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he was a healthy scratch.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. You didn't just miss. You missed, and the guy that you took was inactive because he's healthy.
Because he can't beat Greg Ward, who is a college fucking quarterback and undrafted, and Travis Fulgham, who is a 6th-round pick. The year they took J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Travis Fulgham was drafted in the 6th round.
By another team.
Right. So it's not like you... It'd be one thing, okay, you missed on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Whatever. Like, it's not like you missed there. It's like he wasn't even on anyone else's radar. Well, he was. But he wasn't, like,
well,
the best. I get, no. What I'm trying to say is he wasn't the best wide receiver on the board when you took him.
Well, Pro Football Focus said he was a first-round pick, but that's besides the point. They don't know what they're doing.
They don't, yeah, exactly. They don't know what they're doing. I'm talking about, like, no one else was like, oh, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is this great fucking talent. I would bet dollars to donuts, literally everyone but the Eagles had DK Metcalf rated higher than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Well, Metcalf was staring him in the face. Like, it's one thing to miss on Metcalf. If they took McLaurin, are you sitting here this upset today?
There's a lot of people, if they took, I wouldn't be this upset today.
That's the point.
They could have not drafted Jalen Hurts, and I would not be this upset today. And again, we go back to it. Want to be a fucking quarterback factory in the NFL. Okay, who are you preparing these guys to go play for? Like, we want to be a quarterback factory. Okay, what do you expect them to go to play in fucking Canada? Also, by the way, Jalen Hurts, I get it, Doug. You're trying to make, like, oh, we took this guy. We got to fucking play him to make the pick make sense. Every time they put Jalen Hurts in the game, it literally derails the entire offensive drive. It is such a momentum killer. It's like, okay, Carson Wentz, he's fucking 4 of 7 on this drive. They're in the red zone. Carson Wentz has got us all the way down here. Let's put Jalen in the game. Why? Why put Jalen in the game? All he's done, and they don't even have him throw the ball. It's a zone read. Every time he's in the game, it's a zone read that gets tackled in the backfield. Because he never throws it.
It just goes back to this. Like, the Houston Rockets will never be made fun of because they took Hakeem Olajuwon over Michael Jordan. The Buffalo Bills will never be made fun of because, yes, they gave that pick to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes. But nobody makes fun of Buffalo today because what did Buffalo do? They traded down. They collected an additional first-round pick. The pick they got from Kansas City turned into Tre'Davious White, who's one of the best cornerbacks in football. And the following year, they used that pick to move up and get Josh Allen. Nobody will ever sit here and make fun of Buffalo. Maybe you didn't get it 100% perfect, but you didn't fucking miss, and you didn't fucking fall on your face. Howie Roseman didn't just pass on DK Metcalf to find somebody that could play. He passed on DK Metcalf, and the guy he took's a healthy scratch. That's when you get made fun of. That's when you're the fucking problem.
And to be honest with you, I don't hear people talking about that enough. Like, we always hear about, oh, Chicago traded up to draft Mitch Trubisky instead of Pat Mahomes and whoever.
That's when you get made fun of.
But no one talks about Howie Roseman as this terrible GM. Like, no one. Like, If I was in the broadcast booth on Sunday watching the Eagles play pitiful against the New York sucking Giants, I'm ripping Howie a new one the entire game. I'm talking about Doug's shitty play call the entire game.
Like, you can point to Philadelphia's roster, and nothing he's done in the past 2 years have made any sense. You can go up and down the line. Here's maybe number 10. And this one is as minor as it minor gets, but it just goes to the point where there's so many mistakes he's made. Let's go back to free agency. Philadelphia made no secret about it. They really wanted Byron Jones. Is that a fact?
Yes.
Now, Byron Jones can play man. He can play zone. He was a former safety at Connecticut. He can do both. There's no question about it. At the end of the day, he got outbid by Miami. Instead, he gave up a 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick to trade for Darius Slay, who is a press man corner. Am I being crazy here? Am I lying?
No. This sounds like you're about to say something, the exact words that I said on Sunday in the Slack.
They do not put Darius Slay in a position to succeed. Every wide receiver is given at least 5 yards of coverage, and they're playing zone, and he's not a zone corner. It's almost exactly like what they did with Nnamdi Asomugha. They signed Nnamdi Asomugha and turned him into something he is not. If you wanted a guy who could play man or zone, you should have just bucked up the extra 5-10 cents for Byron Jones, and we wouldn't have this problem. Instead, you went cheap, and you overpaid for Darius Slay, giving up 2 draft picks that should have been used on a poor roster. And now we got Darius Slay playing in a position where he can't succeed.
To be fair, Darius Slay really hasn't played bad this year, although he did get cooked by Darius Slayton in the 4th quarter.
Bad.
He got cooked. But the problem is and also Jim Schwartz should have been fired fucking yesterday. You got Darius Slay, like you said, is one of the, if not the best, one of the best press corners in the NFL. You paid all this money or all this draft capital to go get him. Gave him a pretty big contract. And on 3rd and 3, he's playing 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. Why could we not stop the Giants on 3rd downs? Well, they're running slants against cornerbacks that are 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. No wonder we couldn't stop them.
The Giants have been running slants for 10 years. That's all Odell ran with the Giants.
Not to mention, you got Daniel Jones is running read options all over the field. Like, okay, at what point do we say, hey, guys, we know that Daniel Jones is going to run the ball. Why don't we do something to stop that?
What was it? Whenever they played the Giants the first time, Daniel Jones had a ridiculous, what was it,
Daniel Jones was their leading rusher last week or on Sunday.
Yeah.
He had 3 rush. He didn't throw for a touchdown. He had 3 rushing touchdowns.
I got 2 other things I want to talk about. This is a stat you can't even make up. Actually, I have 3 things to talk about, but the first one you kind of already covered. Carson Wentz, the most sacked quarterback, the most pressured quarterback, and the most hit quarterback. Roseman, you don't want to pick one offensive lineman in the draft, really. Like, that's not even the point here. This is a stat you can't even make up. Doug Peterson is 1-4 off a bye. And they were playing a Giants team they had already played and couldn't have looked less prepared. And the one year they did win coming off a bye was when they had Frank Reich.
Again, I think Doug's problem, and if you listen to any of his press conferences from today and yesterday after the game, he does not realize that he is the fucking problem here. They asked him, Doug, what did you think about your play call on Sunday? Oh, I think it was pretty good. You couldn't crack 20 points against the Giants. And you think your play call was so great?
You can't be 1-4 off a bye unless you're like the Jets.
Oh,
do you know how hard it is to be 1-4 off a bye? That's insane.
By the way, we need to talk about the fact that Jason Mailata, or whatever his name is,
Jordan
Mailata, he hasn't been great, but so far at left tackle, he's pretty much been the best option they've had this year. Right? So instead of doing the smart thing and playing Josh Herbig or whatever his name is, who's been pretty good at right guard.
I think his name's Nate.
Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting his last name right. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Instead of playing Herbig at right guard and maybe moving Peters to left guard or using Matt Pryor, who is apparently this offseason was the greatest fucking lineman you have because you didn't want to pay Jason Peters extra money to play left guard. You're going to put Jason Peters at left tackle. And when he's played left tackle this year, he's fucking sucked. Like, this coaching staff, they have no clue what they're doing. And where did the majority of Carson Wentz's pressure come from this week? Right up the middle. But no, let's go with these random guys off the street playing guard this week. When Herbig's been good, for some reason he doesn't get to see the field. Mailata's been good. He doesn't get to see the field. I swear to God, this team makes me hate football. I hate football right now.
How do you think I feel?
I'm done.
You have a quarterback that can throw.
No, he can't. He can't throw the ball because he gets sacked as soon as he touches it.
Yeah, but he has a skill set that he can throw.
It doesn't matter if he can't use it.
Last thing on the Eagles. And again, I have been a defender of Carson Wentz, and not just because of you. I will continue to defend I think I've defended Wentz more than you have, actually. I will say it again. This idea that and it's ridiculous I even have to say this. This idea that the Philadelphia Eagles should have kept Nick Foles over Carson Wentz, and the same person today is suggesting that the Bears are better with Trubisky over Foles. Doesn't that tell you how insane that first statement is?
Oh, I'm going to talk about Foles later, so we'll get there. But because I'm not going to lie, and don't get me wrong, Mitch Trubisky sucks, but we're going to get there. I don't have.
Why don't we get there right now?
Well, you want me to go into my second takeaway?
You might as well.
Okay.
Help me understand. Help me understand the person, because this is the same person. Dumbass talking head. Eagles should have kept Foles over Wentz. Same guy, because this person exists. Trubisky, Bears are better with Trubisky over Foles, because that person exists. How fucking insane do you have to be to believe this? Because statement number 2 might be correct, but statement number 1, you don't have a brain. If that's what Brett Favre, what was it? Last week, Brett Favre literally came out and said the Eagles should have kept Foles over Wentz. Has he watched Nick Foles on television? The guy's Fitzpatrick. He can get hot for 2 games. Over the course of a 16-game season, he stinks. This is not hard to understand. And if they did not have home field advantage over Atlanta in that playoff game, Foles loses the first playoff game.
I agree. I mean, as far as the Bears are concerned, I think I wouldn't say that their offense is going to be like crazy good with Mitch Trubisky. I don't think that's in any fucking sense of possibility true. But I do think they played better with Mitch Trubisky. I think he's not a great quarterback, obviously, and you need to spend a pick in this draft to get a quarterback. But I think Mitch Trubisky does give the Bears a better chance to win than Nick Foles does.
Not disputing it. Wouldn't have disputed it when they made the change.
So, I mean, if you look at that game they played against last night against the Vikings, everyone has been able to pass against the Vikings this season.
Or move the ball in some capacity.
Yeah. And Nick Foles, he was like 15 of 26 for like 100 yards.
Their best offenses don't kick the ball to Cordero Patterson.
You mean that? No, you mean that is their best offense is kick the ball to Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, don't kick the ball to Cordero Patterson. They can't beat us.
Right. So, yeah.
That's their offense. That's the entire offense. I believe that's the only touchdown they scored, correct? 19-13 the score was. I think they had two field goals and the Patterson run back.
Correct.
How's your best offense a kick returner?
It's mind-boggling.
And I think this should be said. Continue with your point, but all the people that said Matt Nagy was the problem, well, he gave up play calling yesterday. So how did that go?
I would also like to point out, why the fuck do they keep trying to make Cordero Patterson happen in the offense?
I don't think he's the problem.
I think it's weird that they keep trying to give him the ball. That's like...
Well, at some point, you got to do something, right? You can't move the ball. You got a guy who's at least taking kicks to the house. David Montgomery's hurt. Tariq Cohen's hurt. Who are you putting in the backfield?
But that's not really what he does, you know?
What does he do?
It's one thing, I would say it's one thing to try to get him involved in like the screen game. But they keep trying to line him up in the backfield and run him up the gut like he's a running back. That's not what he does.
What's the alternative?
Put him in the slot, throw him the screen. Put him out wide, throw him a screen.
Foles,
I think you'll have more success doing that than you would putting him in the backfield.
Do you
or
trust?
If you're going to start him in the backfield, put him in the backfield, motion him out, and then throw him the screen.
Do you trust Foles to make a screen pass right now?
Trust Mitch Trubisky to make a screen pass. That's all he could do before he got benched. He's really fucking good at it.
What a show we got today.
I have nothing else to say. I'm honestly, like, more than anything, I'm just fucking pissed with the Eagles.
Can we continue down the negative street and then we'll get to positive stuff?
What else do you have to say that's negative?
Am I allowed to hate my team? Am I now being the one that's irrational? This is a bad Patriots team. Let's not pretend this Patriots team's good. This is a Patriots team that was a fingernail away from losing to the Jets. Let's not pretend this Patriots team's good now. Because they're not. They lost to Denver. Bad. They got their ass kicked by Denver. They lost to this 49ers team. That's all injured and banged up. They didn't just lose to the 49ers. They got absolutely hosed by the 49ers. This Patriots team is hot garbage. Now, I'm not going to rule them out because it's the Patriots, but this Patriots team is not good. This is now 8 consecutive weeks that Lamar Jackson has not thrown for 250 yards. 8 consecutive weeks He has not thrown for 250 yards. They cannot throw the fucking ball. Forget about like, oh, hey, we got a shot when this thing opens up. They got no fucking shot. They're screwed. Their whole team is screwed. And I don't want to hear them being irrational. We got Mayfield. Baker Mayfield can throw for 250 yards. Kirk Cousins can throw for 250 yards. We got a quarterback that can't do it in 8 straight games. And it's not like they've been up 8 straight games. They've lost multiple games during this stretch. This team makes me hate football, Chad. This is why I care more about my fantasy team. How do you build an offense where we got one way to win? They can't even compete with this bad Patriots team. Yeah, the weather was bad. Who cares? They're a mess. And I think they're more of a mess than people realize. Marquise Brown, and I'm not saying Marquise Brown is a star, but I think he's at least talented. He flat out hates Lamar Jackson. He's tweeting, we got a quarterback that can't get me the football. In the press, he's mouthing off saying, I'm getting screwed here. We don't got anybody that can get me the football. When your best receiver saying that to the public, we got a problem.
I mean, to be fair, at least you know who's saying it. Could be like Alshon Jeffrey and be bitch made and go off the record with it.
Am I now the one that's being overreaction here? Overreaction, Trey. We got a great quarterback. We're in good shape. Come on.
I think
they know the truth. They know the truth.
I think it's still Bill Belichick.
So come on. Come on.
I think you have to take it with a grain of salt. It's Bill Belichick. If you had lost, if the Ravens, so it's not like the fucking Eagles losing to the Giants and Joe Judge.
They were never in the game. They were never in the game.
It's still Bill Belichick. If anybody is going to be able to stymie a team like anyone else, it's going to be Bill Belichick. When they lose to the Giants, then I'll think you're right. I'll be like, well, you know what, Trey? You got a solid point there. They lost to the Giants who, can't get right. So maybe you got a point.
If New England had lost to the Jets the week before, would you still have said the same thing?
What?
New England could have lost to the Jets. Nick Folk misses a field goal, they lose.
Okay.
If New England loses to the Jets and then beats Baltimore the way they beat Baltimore, you're still saying this today?
Yes, because it's still Bill Belichick.
Chad, they're not that good. They should be way better than this.
Who, the Ravens or the
Patriots? Baltimore. Baltimore should be way better than this. Roster-wise.
Well, I think they have a pretty solid roster. I think that they got outcoached.
Well, it's hard to not be outcoached when he can't throw the ball. It's not like New England was throwing it either.
I still think you're overreacting. If they had lost to any other team with a losing record, I'd be like, okay, there's a problem here. They're losing to Bill Belichick, who is arguably the greatest NFL coach that's ever coached.
Have you seen their passing offense, though? They can't move the ball in the air, like at all. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. It continues to get worse.
Hey, look, I'm not saying Baltimore doesn't have any problems. Obviously they have problems. But I am saying there's multiple ways to skin a cat. You don't have to throw the ball to win. You just have to make sure you do everything else right.
All right, they play Tennessee this week.
Trent Dilfer this thing.
I'm tired of Trent Dilfer and Chad. That's the problem. My entire life, this is what they've looked like. Entire life. Kyle Bowler. Who's the? Trying to think of his name. not Quincy Wright. What's his name? I can't think of his name. It's Elvis Gerback, Kyle Bowler. I'm sick of it. This is my entire life. This is what they've done. We're good enough to win. We got a pretty good roster. We can draft well enough to convince our fans we're in it. But don't worry, we can't throw the ball to save our fucking cocks. This shit sucks. 20 years of my life, this is what they've been like. I'm tired of it.
I mean, what do we talk about playing the Chiefs, though? How do you beat the Chiefs?
They're never going to beat the Chiefs.
You keep the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hands.
They're never going to beat the Chiefs.
Hey,
ever.
They are built perfectly to keep the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hands.
Why do they keep getting killed to Kansas City then? They've played Kansas City 4 times with Lamar Jackson, and they've gotten housed every single time.
Because they don't keep the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hands. Do you have anything else on Baltimore?
They know the truth. I refuse to believe they sit there and they don't know. They know.
Okay. What if you beat Tennessee this week?
That's what I'm going to ask.
Tennessee's a good team.
I don't think they're that good. But let's say they go to because last time they beat Tennessee or played Tennessee, they looked awful. Let's say that same thing happens. Let's say Mike Vrabel knows what he's doing. He's dialing it up. Lamar Jackson stinks against Tennessee again. What are you saying next week?
I feel like I'm going to say the same thing I've always said. Lamar Jackson, we know he's not a great thrower. But, I mean, I don't think this is a bad roster.
That's the roster's not the problem. The roster's not the problem.
I think
they can win Super Bowls with Joe Flacco because Joe Flacco can get hot and he can make good throws and keep them in games. They fall behind 10 points, it's over.
I disagree.
What was it that year they won the Super Bowl? They're down a touchdown, right? There's like 30 seconds left. Flacco hits Jacoby Jones on this 70-yard bomb. Can't happen right now. Can't happen. Impossible.
Yeah,
we lose that game every time.
Well, but Lamar could take off for 70 yards.
Come on!
So there you go.
Yeah. Yep, I'm sure. This shit sucks, Chad. This shit sucks. It's forced us to hate football.
But you're in a different situation here. I'm over here. I'm over here in Cleveland land. Yeah, I'm in Cleveland land over here.
No, you're not.
And at least you have a team that maybe doesn't have the best shot, but they have like maybe a 5% chance to win the Super Bowl.
Nope. We're in the exact same spot, except the only difference is you have a quarterback that you can win with, but your roster stinks and your coach sucks. We have a coach that knows what he's doing. Our roster's pretty good, but we have a quarterback we can't ever win with. It's the same shit. It's just a little bit different constructed.
I disagree. My laptop disagrees. It's falling over here.
No, I think you agree. You just knocked the mic over. All right.
Baltimore, at worst, or I should say at best, has like at least a 5% chance of winning the Super Bowl.
No.
Lamar Jackson and all.
Never will happen. Two quick things, and then I guess we can wrap up. Miami. I have been rooting for Miami and Arizona the most this year. I don't have I'm not a fan of, I'm a Ravens fan, hibernating Ravens fan, but I am actively rooting for Miami to do well and for Arizona to do well. They are just very, very high in my karma rankings. Arizona. They make really good decisions. The Murray thing. I didn't have a good feel for that draft, but I didn't feel like Arizona had a bad plan. If you're going to draft Kyler Murray, don't you want someone like Cliff Kingsbury to be his head coach? Someone who he knows where I can build an air raid offense and I can make this puppy work. They drafted Murray with a plan. It's hard not to root for him. And then the following year, where he's like, all right, we have a quarterback that I think this thing can work. How do I get this thing to the next level? Well, here's D-Hop. Here's D-Hop. We'll take him. Hopkins single-handedly won that game. A lot of quarterbacks can make that throw. There's only one guy on the planet who catches that Hail Mary. One. What was he, quadruple covered?
Double coverage, and then I think a third player came over, and I think the guy that came over, I couldn't tell who it was. I think he actually made it easier for Hopkins to catch the ball because he knocked another Buffalo player off of the ball when he came over.
Either way, Hopkins is the only guy on the planet I think that's making that catch. And Murray said himself, he's like, shit, Hopkins down there somewhere.
Right. I saw that.
It's hard not to root for the Cardinals. Even in the draft, they're like, well, there's a lot of left tackles here that we could take, but we have a quarterback that we can trust, and we really think he's athletic. So let's get someone like Isaiah Simmons, who we can really make this defense better, and we'll be okay with Josh Jones in the third round. And they're better for it. It's hard not to root for Arizona right now.
Well, I mean, I think what separates them from other teams, especially the fucking Eagles, is they've hit on their picks.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Isaiah Simmons, I guess, hasn't done too much this year for them.
I think they have a plan, and I think you can see, like, okay, that makes sense.
Right. Like I said, Isaiah Simmons hasn't done too much for them this year, but, I mean, outside of that, all of their other picks, they've hit on.
It's hard not to root for the Cardinals, in my opinion. The other team, Miami. And, I mean, what a job Brian Flores is doing. Those guys play hard for him. Their draft picks, they've collected out the ass. I don't even think they're that talented. But the way I think Tua looks awesome. Like they won that Chargers game, and I know a lot of it's Anthony Lynn being a jackass. They got Salvin Ahmed in the backfield. They're leading wide receivers in that game. Matt Collins, Jakeem Grant. Their team's really not that good. They're kicking the shit out of everybody. And I see a plan. I know what Miami's trying to do.
Matt Collins. Another fucking former Eagle.
Touchdown this week. He had a touchdown this week.
And you know what? That's the thing, though. And I'm going to jump back, and then I'll come back here. Like, look at all these players that the Eagles had go to other teams, and then all of a sudden, they may not, they're either playing really well or they're key contributors. Maybe they don't have all these great stats, but they're, making plays here or there for their team.
Eric Rowe.
Fucking Doug
Nelson
Peterson
Aguilar.
Can't get right. But coming back to the Dolphins, I still agree. I said it last week. I said it the week before. I don't think the Dolphins are that great of a team. But their coaching staff, unlike the Eagles, are putting them in the best position to play well and to win the game.
I just want to bring up those two teams because I find myself actively rooting for them to succeed. And if I had to start a franchise today, I think those are the two teams I would want to start with.
I'd want to start with the Eagles. At least you'll get the first overall pick, I mean.
With those two teams, I got quarterbacks I can trust. I got coaches who I think know what they're doing. and I see a game plan where, okay, the things we're doing make sense.
I mean, yeah, if you're taking over as GM.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to be fair, you can have the same thing with the Eagles.
No, you can't.
Doug Peterson, Howie Roseman, they got to go. There's no way you can keep them past the season. If I was Jeffrey Lurie, they'd be fired today.
Well, I would have fired Roseman after he picked Hurts. I said that how long ago?
Trey, do you have anything else?
Miami. They can win a Super Bowl. That's about it.
Not this year.
No, not this year. But isn't it funny? Chargers, Dolphins. I don't want to kill Herbert. It's weird how much better Tua looked than him, though. I get it. Herbert has Anthony Lynn to overcome, but I think Herbert's team's way better.
No, I agree. The Chargers are definitely better, but I don't know the exact stats, but I saw something on Twitter like last night. Like, they went like backwards or gained 0 yards on like almost every one of their first down attempts. Every time they had the ball on first down, they went backwards or had like 0 yards.
I didn't think Herbert looked good this past week at all.
I think that's coaching, though. I think he's played.
I said I didn't want to kill him. I just think there's a clear gap between him and Tua.
Yeah, but could you imagine Herbert with Brian Flores? Maybe we'd be having the opposite conversation.
I don't think so. I just think Tua would look worse. He's still got fucking Matt Collins out there. I mean, with the Chargers, he's got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Hunter Henry, and like, I don't know. He's gonna get Eckler back soon.
That's true. Any other takeaways?
Nope.
Comments, concerns, Trey?
NBA draft stuff. Check it out on the site.
So with that being said, whatever you do on Patreon, do that. Subscribe.
Donate.
Give us money. Donate.
Yeah.
On Patreon. I don't know what the tiers are, but it's in the works. I know I've been joking around about it. The $75 tier, and you can fight me if you're in the area. I don't know. Maybe we could do that for like all the site writers. You pay $75 and you get to throw on the boxing gloves with the Vendetta employee of your choice. But check out the Patreon. Give us money there. Follow us on Twitter, Vendetta_media. You can follow Trey at Trey Daubert, me at Lilfooted. Don't forget to like this video if you're watching it on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Other than that, thanks for giving us a listen, and we'll see you next week.